She thought it was just an old piece of jewelry, a forgotten keepsake tucked away in her grandmother's dusty jewelry box. The silver had tarnished with age, and the image on its surface was worn smooth by time and touch. It was small, oval, and unassuming, but the story behind this simple medal and the powerful prayer inscribed on it would change everything she thought she knew about faith, hope, and the immense power of a mother's love. This isn't just a story about a piece of metal. It's the story of a promise made nearly 200 years ago in a humble chapel in Paris, given to a young nun in a vision that would send waves of grace across the entire world. It's the story of a prayer so powerful it has been linked to countless healings, protections, and conversions that have stunned even the most hardened skeptics. What if the graces of heaven were pouring down, available to anyone who simply had the confidence to ask? This is the real story of the Miraculous Medal and the prayer that unlocked a torrent of divine mercy. O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee. Our story begins not with a saint, but with a young woman named Sarah. Much like any of us, she was navigating the complexities of modern life, the anxieties, the uncertainties, the search for meaning in a world that often feels chaotic. While sifting through her late grandmother's belongings, her fingers closed around the small, cool oval of the medal. She turned it over, tracing the strange symbols. A cross intertwined with a large letter M, 2 hearts set ablaze, and a circle of 12 stars. On the front, an image of a woman, haloed by an inscription she didn't recognize. O Mary, conceived without sin. What did it mean? What was this object her grandmother had clearly cherished? Her quest for answers takes us back in time to a city gripped by fear and a young woman chosen for an extraordinary mission. To understand the miracle, you have to understand the world into which it was born. Picture Paris in 1830. The air was thick with tension. The echoes of one revolution had barely faded, and the rumblings of another were growing louder. It was a time of immense political and social upheaval, of poverty, and of a deep spiritual crisis. For many, faith felt like a distant memory, and hope was in short supply. It is here, in this city of shadows and uncertainty, that we meet Catherine Labouré. She wasn't a queen or a scholar. She was a humble, quiet young woman from the French countryside who had recently joined the Daughters of Charity, a religious order dedicated to serving the poorest of the poor. She was a novice, just beginning her spiritual life at the convent on the Rue du Bac in Paris. By all accounts, Catherine was ordinary. She was unassuming, devoted, and sought no attention for herself. But it is so often the humble whom God chooses for the most extraordinary tasks. Devotional tradition tells us that God had been preparing her heart for months. She had been granted profound mystical experiences, including visions of the heart of Saint Vincent de Paul, the founder of her order, and even visions of Christ in the Blessed Sacrament. These were intimate, holy moments that strengthened her faith for the incredible events that were to come. She had no idea that heaven was about to intersect with earth, right in the heart of her quiet convent. The night of July 18th, 1830, was the eve of the feast of Saint Vincent de Paul. The convent was still and dark, the other sisters long asleep. But Catherine was stirred from her slumber by a strange sound, the voice of a child calling her name. "Sister Labouré! Sister Labouré!" Opening her eyes, she saw a beautiful child, perhaps 4 or 5 years old, bathed in a soft white light. The child beckoned her, saying, Come to the chapel. The Blessed Virgin is waiting for you. Filled with a mix of awe and nervousness, Catherine dressed and followed the child, who radiated light, illuminating the dark hallways of the sleeping convent. Every door they approached opened with a touch. The greatest wonder was the chapel itself. Though it was the middle of the night, it was ablaze with light, as if prepared for a midnight mass. Catherine knelt at the altar rail, her heart pounding, and waited. Soon, she heard the rustle of silk. The child announced, "Here is the Blessed Virgin." And there, sitting in the spiritual director's chair, was a woman of indescribable beauty. It was Mary, the Mother of God. Overcome, Catherine went to her and knelt at her feet, resting her hands in Mary's lap, in a moment of profound, childlike trust. Mary spoke to her for over 2 hours, not as a distant queen, but as a loving mother. She spoke of the difficult times ahead, telling Catherine that God had a special mission for her, but that she would face many trials in carrying it out. Mary also spoke of the troubles that would soon engulf France and the whole world. It was a prophetic warning, but also a message of comfort. Mary was assuring Catherine, and through her, all of us, that even in the darkest of times, she is present. This first apparition was a preparation, a quiet conversation between a mother and her child, setting the stage for a revelation that would change the world. 4 months later, on the evening of November 27th, 1830, heaven opened once more, while Catherine was in evening meditation with the other sisters in the chapel. Suddenly, she saw the Blessed Virgin Mary standing near the altar. She was beautiful beyond description, clothed in a robe the color of the dawn. She stood upon a white globe, representing the earth, with her feet subduing a serpent beneath them, a powerful image of her victory over evil. In her hands, she held a smaller golden globe, which she offered up to God as her eyes lifted toward heaven. Mary explained that this globe represented the entire world, especially France, and every single person. Then the vision changed. The golden globe vanished and her arms lowered, outstretched in a gesture of maternal welcome. From rings on her fingers, set with precious gems, brilliant rays of light streamed downwards, bathing the globe at her feet in a shower of light. Catherine was captivated by the beauty of these rays. Mary's voice then explained their meaning. These rays symbolize the graces I shed upon those who ask for them. It was a stunning revelation, a visual representation of the divine help available to humanity through Mary's intercession. But Catherine noticed something curious. Some of the gems on Mary's rings were dark and gave off no light. When she asked why, Mary's reply was one of the most poignant parts of the vision. She explained, "The gems from which rays do not fall are the graces for which souls forget to ask." It's an astonishing thought. Graces held in reserve, waiting for us. Help, protection, and love, all available, but they go unclaimed because we simply don't ask. It was a call to action then, and it remains one now. We must have the confidence to ask. As Catherine absorbed this, an oval frame formed around the Blessed Mother. Written within it, in golden letters, were the words that would become one of the most beloved prayers in the Church. "O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee." The voice then gave a clear command. "Have a medal struck after this model. All who wear it will receive great graces. They should wear it around the neck. Graces will abound for persons who wear it with confidence." Let's look closely at that prayer, because every word is overflowing with meaning. "O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee. In 1830, the dogma of the Immaculate Conception, the belief that Mary, from the very first moment of her existence, was preserved free from all stain of original sin, had not yet been formally defined by the Church. That wouldn't happen for another 24 years in 1854. This prayer, revealed by heaven itself, was a powerful affirmation of this truth. To be conceived without sin means Mary was created in a perfect state of grace to be a worthy vessel for the Son of God. She is seen as the new Eve, obedient where the first Eve was disobedient, crushing the serpent's head as promised in the book of Genesis. The second part of the prayer is just as vital. Pray for us who have recourse to thee. That phrase, have recourse, is so important. It doesn't mean a casual thought. It means to actively turn to someone for help, to seek refuge, to place your trust in them. We aren't praying to Mary as the source of grace. The medal itself shows that grace flows from God through her hands. We are asking her as our Heavenly Mother to intercede for us with her Son, Jesus. It's a profound act of faith, humility, and trust. Just as Catherine was absorbing this incredible vision, the frame seemed to rotate, revealing the design for the reverse side of the medal. The symbolism here is just as rich, a little catechism in miniature. At the center is a large M for Mary, surmounted by a cross. The two are intertwined, showing the inseparable connection between Mary and the redemptive sacrifice of her Son, Jesus. Mary stood at the foot of the cross, her heart joined to his suffering. This image beautifully teaches us that true devotion to Mary always leads us to Jesus. Below the M and cross are two hearts, side by side. On the left is the Sacred Heart of Jesus, encircled by a crown of thorns, representing his passionate, wounded love for humanity. On the right is the Immaculate Heart of Mary, pierced by a sword, fulfilling the prophecy that a sword of sorrow would pierce her soul. These two hearts, burning with love, symbolize the complete love that Jesus and Mary have for every one of us. Surrounding this entire image are 12 stars. These stars symbolize the 12 apostles, and by extension, the entire church. They also recall the vision of St. John in the book of Revelation, which describes a woman clothed with the sun, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. The stars confirm Mary's role as Queen of Heaven and Earth and Mother of the Church. In one small design, the whole story of salvation, Christ's sacrifice, Mary's participation, and the church he founded is told. For Catherine, receiving the vision was just the first step. The next part would test her faith. True to her humble nature, she didn't announce the vision to the world. Instead, she took the request only to her spiritual director, Father Aladel, without revealing her own identity. Father Aladel was skeptical. He was a cautious man, and stories of private revelations weren't things to be taken lightly. For 2 long years, he investigated and prayed, while Catherine patiently persisted. Finally convinced, Father Aladel took the request to the Archbishop of Paris, who gave his approval. The first medals were struck on June 30th, 1832, and they arrived at a moment of profound crisis. A terrifying cholera epidemic was sweeping through Paris, claiming an estimated 20,000 lives. The Daughters of Charity began to distribute the first 1,500 medals. What happened next was immediate and extraordinary. Reports began pouring in of healings, conversions, and protections. The original name was the Medal of the Immaculate Conception, but the people of Paris, witnessing the stream of wonders, gave it a new name, the Miraculous Medal. The devotion spread, like wildfire. Devotional accounts state that by 1839, over 10 million medals had been distributed worldwide, and by the time of Catherine's death in 1876, the number may have surpassed 1 billion. In 1836, a formal canonical inquiry in Paris concluded the apparitions were worthy of belief and approved the devotion to the medal. Of all the thousands of stories associated with the medal, one stands out: the story of Alphonse Ratisbonne. Born in 1814 to a wealthy Jewish banking family, Ratisbonne was worldly, educated, and held a deep animosity toward the Catholic Church. His hatred only intensified after his brother converted and became a priest. In 1842, while in Rome, a friend, the Baron de Bussière, dared Ratisbonne to wear a miraculous medal and recite the Miraculous Prayer each day. Ratisbonne found the idea absurd but accepted the challenge, perhaps to prove its foolishness. A few days later, on January 20th, 1842, Ratisbonne wandered into the church of Sant'Andrea delle Frate. What happened next, he described in his own words. The church suddenly went dark, with all the light concentrating in one side chapel. There, in a blinding brilliance, stood the Blessed Virgin Mary, exactly as she appeared on the medal he was wearing. She didn't speak, but motioned for him to kneel. In that instant, Ratisbonne said, the scales fell from his eyes. He understood the beauty of the Catholic faith he had spent his life mocking. An irresistible force drew him to her, and he fell to his knees, weeping. When the Baron found him, he was transformed, crying, "I have seen her, I have seen her." The conversion was instantaneous and total. Alphonse Ratisbonne, the hardened enemy of the church, asked to be baptized. His story became one of the most famous and well-documented miracles of the 19th century, investigated and approved by the church. He broke off his engagement, became a Jesuit priest, and dedicated the rest of his life to praying for the conversion of the Jewish people, co-founding the Congregation of Our Lady of Sion. His story is a powerful testament that no heart is too hard for God's grace. The story of the Miraculous Medal isn't just a history lesson. The promise Mary made to St. Catherine Labouré wasn't limited to the 19th century. It is a living promise for you and me, right here, right now. The medal isn't a magic charm or a lucky talisman. It is a sacramental, a holy object that prepares us to receive grace and disposes us to cooperate with it. It is a tangible reminder of the presence and protection of our Heavenly Mother. So how do we embrace this promise today? The instructions are as simple as they were in 1830. First, wear the medal. Mary herself said they should wear it around the neck. It is a visible sign of our faith, like carrying a picture of your mother in your wallet, a constant silent reminder that you are loved and not alone. Second, pray the prayer. Recite it often with confidence. O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee. Say it in moments of temptation or fear. You can meditate on the symbols, reflecting on Mary's love and Jesus' sacrifice. Finally, and most importantly, have confidence. Mary's promise was explicit. Graces will abound for persons who wear it with confidence. Trust in her intercession. Trust that she hears your prayers and carries them to her Son. Trust that those rays of grace are real and that she is just waiting for you to ask. The story of the Miraculous Medal is still being written today in the quiet miracles of daily life, in the peace that settles an anxious heart, the strength to face a difficult diagnosis or an unexpected reconciliation. If this story has touched you, we invite you to do 3 things. First, If you have your own story about the Miraculous Medal or a prayer intention you're holding in your heart, please share it in the comments below. Let's build a community of faith and support right here. Second, if you found value in this story, please consider liking and subscribing for more stories of faith that can inspire and uplift. And finally, we invite you to obtain a miraculous medal for yourself or someone you love. You can often find them at Catholic parishes or online. Wear it not as a superstition, but as a sign of your trust in a mother's love, a love that can change everything. When Sarah finished her research, she looked down at the old, worn medal in her hand with new eyes. It was no longer just a piece of her grandmother's jewelry. It was a story. It was a promise. It was a direct link to a humble nun in Paris, to a heavenly mother's love, and to a torrent of grace that has flowed uninterrupted for nearly 2 centuries. She slipped the chain around her neck, the cool metal a comforting weight against her skin. For the first time, she prayed the words, not as a stranger, but as a daughter who had found her mother. The power of the Miraculous Medal is the power of faith in action. It's a reminder that even in a world filled with darkness, the light of grace is always streaming down, waiting for us. All we have to do is look up, reach out, and pray with the confidence of a child. O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee.